The next candidate for the Liberal Party for provincial parliament in Leeds Grenville, David Henderson.
So, just so you know, Pete's coming to every council meeting from now on. There's me. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I think this is a big time, a big moment, and because we are coming up to a big decision. Pure and simple, in 3 months, June 7th, we have a big choice. We can either keep on the same path we're on that's changing this province, or we can go backwards. We can either move forward with things that make things more equitable, or we can go back 30, 40, 50 years or go south. Right now, and Pete touched on it, there are things out there that are not fair. We've got an economy we're the richest province and the richest country in the world. We do incredibly well with a big economy, and yet there's lots of people there that are not rising with everybody else. And we know that around here. And the way it's supposed to work is that everybody's supposed to benefit. The economy's changing and not everybody's benefiting. And you know what? We've got a premier here that is putting in place things that help pick up people from the bottom. So when we're talking about a minimum wage, and Pete touched on it, I've run a business, I know what the minimum wage does. You can't live on $20,000 a year. It's not possible. It's the government's job to make sure that we pick up where the economy or the free market can't. That's our job. So moving it up, and moving it up fast, makes sense. And you know what? From my experience in business, when we're all on the same playing field, it works. The only thing I ever worried about was it not being fair to me compared to the business beside me. But this is an even playing field, and it does help a lot of people to move that minimum wage up. And you know what? We have a big retail sector here. We're in a rural area. This kind of thing helps us. It helps our economy. And you know another area where it's happening? Tuition, because we've all got kids and we've all gone through school and we know what it's like to have student loans. And you know what the reality is? My son's here today, and the reality is he's got people that just graduated from high school with him last year that chose not to go on to college because they couldn't afford it. And he's in a small school. There's not that many of them graduating, but they chose not to go on to college because they couldn't afford it. You know who that really hurts? Us. It hurts us when those kids don't go on to college or university. And you know what the program just got put into place was? 210,000 people are not paying tuition in Ontario because of need. That's a program that's in place now because of the current government. That's a good thing. The last one, or the big three I call them, you know what it's about? Pharmacare. I ran a small business, 25 employees. One of the biggest challenges we had on a day-to-day basis was we could not afford to provide a full healthcare package to everybody in our shop. And today, healthcare means pharmacy. It means drug care. And we pride ourselves about having one of the best or healthcare programs in the world, but we don't cover pharmacare. But in the province of Ontario, we do now, for 25 and under. You know who that helps? It helps make an even playing field for everybody that's 25 and under. It helps make an even playing field for families with kids that work for a small business. It helps make a even playing field for those small businesses. This is good for our economy, and I sat at a meeting about 3-4 months ago where I heard the Premier speak, and she said, that's not where it's going to stop. The goal is pharmacare across the board in this province. Before anybody says, oh, that's an expense, no, that helps business. When DuPont was here years ago, one of the most significant arguments they had about being here was their healthcare costs were lower here. And pharmacare is part of that. It makes an even playing field so that people have a chance to grow. People have a chance to get to develop. It's important. Those are three big things. And if you hear the other side, they're going to say they're bad things. They're not. They're good things for us. They're good things for our economy. They make us stronger. And they make it fair. Because it shouldn't be just because you have the money that you get to school, or that you don't have a big debt when you come out. It shouldn't be that you have a great government plan so you get all the drugs you need. If you have a sickness and you get hurt by that drug, by needing to pay for drugs, that's not fair. And it doesn't maximize what we can do as a province. Today is also International Women's Day. So, congratulations to everybody that's a woman out there. But isn't it even more important because of the Me Too things that are going on right now? And give Kathleen Wynne credit, is that she is trying to address those inequalities. So not only, and I've experienced this by sitting on the joint services here, we're adding daycares. We're adding daycare spaces. They've been doing this for years, this government. They've been adding more money to social housing, more money to social programs in this area. And we don't always see that. It doesn't come out in the news all the time, but they've been doing this, and that helps women inequality. And that tuition stuff I just talked about, you know who that is targeted at in some special programs? Getting women into university and into college. And minimum wage, you know who it affects the most? Women. More women earn minimum wage than men. When you move it up, it affects women. It helps women. And again, this helps our economy because you know what? 50% of the population right now, they're not reaching their potential. And if those programs help them reach their potential, that helps us. And not only that, there's programs coming into play for spending on domestic violence, on stopping it, on helping, stopping bullying, different workplace laws. And I get that they're onerous sometimes, but every once in a while you got to wake up and realize you got to get it done. Because we've got to move forward. We're one of the richest places in the world, and we got to do better at it. And we announced the other day that we're going to invest more. There's going to be more investment. And before anybody says that's a bad thing, think about our hospital. Think about our programs. Think about the broadband in the rural areas. These are all things that are important to this area. When we start looking for MRIs, when we start looking for more equipment, we can't get those things unless our provincial government is willing to invest. And here's the thing. The alternative to staying on this path of change, making sure our government changes this province, is all that stops. It means billions of dollars of cuts. And they're so messed up on the PC side right now, they couldn't even tell you what cuts are in those billions, just that there's going to be billions. And remember the 100,000 jobs the last time? It's still on the plate. It never disappeared. Those programs are the same, and we're seeing that being argued out in that leadership mess of a contest. That's not what this province needs. We've got a leader who's got integrity. Maybe she doesn't come off as the best photo op all the time, but she believes in what she's doing. And you know what? Even here, and especially here in this riding, we need more leadership and less photo ops.
Yeah!
That's not what it's about. We're not supposed to be voting against something at Queen's Park and then coming back here and getting in the photo. That doesn't work. Well, it must work for something. It's not the way it's supposed to work. So the bottom line is the other choice, come June 7th, means that you, what? Don't believe in global warming? Don't believe that you can stop it? Don't believe that you can invest in people? Don't believe that we can be better? Just don't believe. Just kill it all. That's the other choice that we're going to be facing. And here's the thing. There's only one way we're going to get there, and that's it's time to stand up. Pete, you use those words, but it's time to stand up. If you think that we can be better, if you think that in one of the richest places in the world, we can cover people, pick people up from the bottom better, give people a hand up, make sure that they've got access to services, make sure that they've got access to hospitals, make sure that they're enjoying the same fruits of this whole country that we are, or some of us are, you got to stand up. You got to help us. You got to come out and campaign. You got to help us fundraise. You've got to stand up, or in 3 months, we won't be on this path of change. We'll be taking a step back. So if you want change, keep it going. Help out. Find somebody. You're going to need every who in Whoville to make this happen. So that's what I've got. As far as I understand, the nomination meeting is going to be next week. I think they haven't nailed that quite down yet.
Yeah, it's nailed down next week.
Next week, next Thursday.
Yeah.
More info to come and where, and pass the message. Get the questions out there. Talk to somebody. I can't express it enough. This is your chance. But if you let it go, it's gone. And we'll be in trouble. There you go.